Hey, everybody. Welcome to the Succeed Without Selling Salon. This week, we are joined by my good friend, Diana Murphy, who I am going to talk with about mindset. So, listen, we've all been going through some crazy stuff for the past several months, and our mindset might be a little challenged, which is why I asked Diana to join me so we could talk about how do we reset? How do we keep it straight? How do we make sure we are, as my brother would say, walking past open windows? So
Like
if
that.
you have any questions, please type them into the chat and we will be happy to answer them. Thanks so much for joining me, Diana.
Oh, this is so much fun.
My first question for you is really about, I know, it's okay. It's really about what would you say to the small business owners and the salespeople out there who are really just, navigating this stuff and it's so uncertain and, how do they stay focused? What advice would you give them?
All right. So I work in a mindset model. My tool is the thought model. And I literally, as COVID happened, decided that I was going to really find out if my thought model really worked. And the thought model is this: our circumstances, COVID, customers saying no, anything that comes at us does not cause our result, does not affect our result. Our results all come from what we're thinking. So it's circumstances trigger a thought in our mind. The thoughts create an emotional state, a feeling. Those feelings, like if you're proud, excited, motivated, we think it's because we just got the sale and that's why we'll make more. No, it's because we thought so well of ourselves after that sale that we felt so good that we took more action, that we created more sales. That's where momentum comes. But how do you create something out of nothing? I help clients all the time. You do too. Create something out of nothing. And it's believing in the thought line, believing that the business is there, even if it's going to look different. And uncertainty is actually a thought. It's not true. When COVID first happened, my first reaction, and people, even in my own coach community, we all use the same tool. I was like, nothing was ever certain. Nothing ever is certain.
That's a really good point.
If we can remember that, then we can't control anything outside of our own mind. That's the biggest tool for a business owner, is how they manage your own mind. I'm not saying you won't be disappointed. I work with a travel agent. She's not booking $1. We did some work when she canceled her final trip for someone, basically watching her income evaporate. Now, her pivot is learning to manage her mind and take life going forward. And she's going to be one of the 30% trail agents that shines when the business is bad, right? So it's all in how she's thinking that creates a great feeling. Now, it's not that this is where mindset can be so practical. It's also when it feels bad, it feels bad. That is from a thought, but trying to jump too quickly to feeling great is inauthentic. It's not
that's
real.
A really good point.
Yeah. So I think most high achievers and salespeople, business builders, really try to turn around too quickly, and they don't realize the unintentional result of some of the underneath stuff, the low level stress, the things that distract us and don't keep us moving in the right way.
I really love this because I'm thinking about some people who I know who, when this first happened, well, let's say, I don't know, maybe 3 weeks after it happened, their business was okay. They were a little surprised that they were still getting calls and they were still getting orders. And so that was really great. And I think they rode that, and then they have since dropped off and evaporated. And so what I'm hearing from you is they have the opportunity to pick how they think about that. right?
Absolutely. And if they look at it closely, and this is the work I do in one-on-one work, one week is amazing. The next week feels awful.
Yeah.
And that's like life is 50-50. Our brain goes to when our brain can be mostly negative, and that's when you definitely should seek a coach, like to really get, but 50-50 is normal. And we can
Okay.
create a lot of amazingness still worrying about 50%, like 50% of the time. But we've got to manage that if it's causing unintentional result. I would imagine that client had a little switch in thinking, well, that was just a fluke. Well, that isn't going to there's just, and it's so
Yeah.
subtle. That's why the in-depth work I love doing one-on-one is we meet every week and we just unfetter all the stuff that isn't serving that client.
Yeah.
And there's
Right.
something unintentional in our background that we can't see ourselves that a coach can see.
Right. Because they're not in our head. Right. And yeah. And I remember when I took my
true. Like they feel absolutely true. I might stand here and go, no, you don't understand. And I'll be like,
yeah.
No, it's a thought.
Yeah.
Let me show you what it creates. And then you get to decide if you love the thought. We get to choose what we're really believing every day.
Okay. So talk to me about, this just popped into my head when you were saying that reacting versus responding. Because I feel like, when something happens and people go instantly to reaction.
I love this.
Right? And instead of being thoughtful, instead of stopping and saying, okay, let me process how I'm thinking about this and how what my mindset is. So share your views on that.
Yeah. So when we're reacting, we're not realizing we're letting that first emotional response dictate our actions. So when you think of, I love the client examples, like the client is telling me they're quitting. They're not going to work. They're not like, I don't have any more money. I can't do any more marketing, or I can't, I'm leaving. I'm done.
Yeah.
And that makes any business owner that worked really hard to bring that client in the door and they love serving them, like that first thought, I don't know any other human that wouldn't go, oh, and for me, that is like my first response. But as a coach, if they're my client, or if you're any expert advisor, if it's not really in their best interest to leave you if they came to you for a certain purpose.
Yeah.
So on their behalf, so that's when we get thoughtful and respond. I don't react like, what the hell, you can't leave, or I even try to be really confident.
Yeah.
And I'm not yet. I haven't worked through my own disappointment. And that's like sleeping on things. We get to choose what we believe, but you can do it. You can drop into, I can do work where I am even in the middle of a coach call and something might trigger me. And I'm like, oh, okay, that's my head. Okay, what's theirs? I, as a coach, my responsibility is to be in their mind, not in my own. So that helps me. And that's also any expert advisor. It's like, no, what do they need? If they still choose to quit, but I'm going to show them, your goal was this when you signed on with me with this marketing plan. I know you're scared right now, but this investment blank. And for some that might, sometimes it is in the best interest of the client to let them go and you. But when we react instead of respond, we're not serving the client. And then we're letting clients go. I've heard there's a lot of conversation about judging clients harshly, or I don't have great clients. Those are all just thoughts in your mind. And when you show up more powerfully as the leader of that client, then you're doing your job. And letting go of revenue because they're hard to work with. And there's some people that you need to let go.
Yes.
But I would say it's a very small percentage of what I hear in the conversation in the world.
Yeah, no kidding.
Your thoughts about the clients are frustrating you. The clients are not frustrating you.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I went on a little tangent about a little rant about clients and loving your clients.
There must be a reason, right?
I hope it serves someone today. Hello, all of you. If you don't like your clients, just think about all your thoughts and help them best and yourself by processing what those thoughts are before you talk.
Yeah. And I think we can help the people around us to not be in a reactive mode.
Yeah.
Because that's so easy and instant, and
Yeah.
That's the response. We don't think about it, just happens, right? It's visceral. It's just, that's the thing. But we have to take that deep breath and step back and say, okay, I need to process how I'm feeling, what I'm thinking about that, and knowing that I can change the way I'm thinking about that, which will then change the way I'm feeling about it, right? And make it, it opens up your brain, like, because
We
all that
choose
instant
to believe.
reaction shuts you down.
We can believe that, like with the client example, I like staying with the same example so people can see how it plays out.
Yeah.
If a client threatens to leave or quit or is mad at you, any like of those reactions, our normal human reaction when someone yells at us is to be upset. That's okay. Just but don't watch what you're making it mean. I've watched in coaching like a group. I'll say, okay, you're like, what is the thing you worry about the most? Not making my numbers by the end of the month. Okay.
Sure.
All of us, right?
Yeah.
So why? Oh, because if I don't make my numbers, I don't, hit my mortgage. I go, then why are you upset? Like, what's going to happen next? And they're like, oh, then my wife's going to leave me. I go, yeah. So in the 5 seconds that you were worried about not making the sale, it was because your brain went all the way to drama. And that's where we have an opportunity. That's practical mindset. That's not making anything mean anything, to neutralize the circumstances and decide what you believe. My business is going to succeed even if I lose this client. Like there's 3 more that need me.
Right.
Like whatever your belief is, even in a vacuum.
And,
so that's where our intention and power comes. Being a human, allowing the emotion. Go rant with your friend. Go rant. But don't use that energy to respond, like you said.
Yeah, right. And remember, I mean, for me, I think one of the greatest things to stop and think about is, what can I do in this moment?
Right.
Like, okay, I can't do that, or that just ended, or this just happened. Okay, but what can I do? Because there's usually at least one thing you can do to be moving the ball down the field.
Yes.
And so, like sometimes I think we do what you just said. We do that going straight to the dramatic, straight to that end.
Yeah.
That what if, instead of saying, okay, you know what? I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
I have no guarantee of what that outcome is when it comes right down to it, but I know I can do something right now in this moment. And that's all we really have.
That's all we have. And, I always think about the amount of control, like when we're talking about certainty, we have all these mind constructs that because we're not doing life the way we did in the before, I call it the before, like living a bad movie. We're in the after. That was the before.
Yes, it was.
Is that, and that helps me to have a little sense of humor about it. But we never had certainty. But right now we're saying, oh, it's never going to be okay. Or and no, you never knew that client was going to stay with you. You never knew that you're going to be able to network with those people. You never knew that you're going to be able to travel. You just thought you were. And now things are disrupted in a way that we get to question all the ways we think about our lives. Like, I think so much good is coming out of this. I know, but I know there's some awful stuff. I know there are business owners. I want to be really sensitive here. There are so many business owners renegotiating their lives in such a dramatic way.
Yeah.
It's going to be a while for some, but I all know, like from 2008 crash and from other things that have happened to many of us, very good things. And what you think now and getting really grounded in what you really want in your life, there's no better time.
Yeah, boy. So this is my favorite part of this conversation, that things weren't certain before. We thought they were because we felt like we had a path and we were in control of certain things. And the truth is we weren't. And right. So this is just a different kind of uncertainty.
Yeah.
All right. It's still uncertain. It's just a different form of it. I really like that. That's very empowering.
When COVID hit and we were in lockdown, I network live. That's my gig. I speak live. I'm speaking to a sister here. But I knew how to Zoom, and I was doing a lot of work coaching and stuff virtually. All my coaching was virtual. but
Yeah.
I felt like the rug had been taken under me. Like the way I'm growing my business now, I knew, and very quickly I tested the model. I had goals for 2020 that I have not changed. And literally, I created the goal, like if you multiply my quarter goal times 4, my 90-day goal from April 1 through July, I'm hitting my goals.
Nice.
And it was doubling my revenue from last year.
Nice.
And now it's like you decide if you can put anything in the result line. And I'm like, okay, I guess we're going to find out if my beliefs around my business are strong enough to withstand COVID. And I just buckled down and got focused on the people I love, which is the best part of our business. Is I love the people that barely look up and are working really hard. And I have a very big heart for them. And that's where this practical mindset is so important, where you can apply it right away.
So speaking of that, for those people who are like that, who are watching this or listening to this, I put on the banner that they can go to your website, but how do you prefer people?
So I love getting to know people that have heard something, they have a question. I love reaching out to listeners, and I am developing a podcast. So I'd love to hear from people that want to hear more from me. I write a couple of times a week, but all they have to do is email me, Diana@DianaMurphyCoaching.com. If I'm too busy, I just have my VA call my email and make sure that nothing gets missed. And I then, from getting to know them there, I know whether it's like, hey, you want to be on my list, and we send that away. But I do have a podcast. It's going to be 10 minutes. Practical Mindset for the Business Owner is the working title. And it's like, it's time to light up our Mondays and really take care of the part of our business that we forget, ourselves. And our mind creates our business. It has all the ideas. That you don't need a formula. Stop buying shiny object things. Work from your own mind. That's the kind of coach I am. So if you're drawn to that or have some questions about how to deal with your pivot, I have free resources, and I'd love to help anyone that comes my way.
Yeah, it's so awesome. And just for the people who are paying attention to this, I'm currently involved in a program that Diana is doing, and it's so helping me focus and get very clear, which, I was able to do before, but I really just felt like I just got it. You're right. I got to take care of me. I got to dive in. I got to do this thing. So reach out to Diana. Diana, thank you so much for joining me today. Sorry we had a little glitchy stuff at the beginning, but hey, we powered through it.
We did. We made it because we didn't let it, I don't know, it finally caught up or something, because then all of a sudden everything was working.
And that's how we like it here. So thanks for tuning in, and thanks for being here. I so appreciate it. And next week, I believe I will be speaking with Debbie Fay about remote presentations.
Oh, wonderful. Boy, so needed.
I know. She's
how to make it fun on the flat. No zooming out, right?
Yeah, right. Exactly. No participating in the chat room while you're supposed to be listening to what's going on.
Yeah, exactly. Well, you're the best, Diane. I am so thankful to get a chance to chat about my favorite subject.
See? So great. I know you would be.
It's so fun.
Yes, it is. So keep a good mindset. Remember, it's all here.
It's all right
control
here.
Over it, right? Yep. Just rock on.
Respond. Don't.
That's right.
Like respond versus react. If we learned anything today, you just taught me another construct. I like it.
See? Very good. And you taught me about things that have always been uncertain. So,
all right.
This is all good. All right, campers. See you later.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.